Now, before we explore more static functions Next.js offers to us and when we need them, let's take another closer look at getStaticProps. On this slide, you see that I added a parameter called context there. Because indeed, this function, which is called by Next.js, receives an argument. We just haven't used it thus far. But we do actually get an object here as an argument, as a parameter, with some extra information about this page when it's executed by Next.js. For example, we would get any dynamic params, any dynamic path segment values, which we'll see in a second, so we'll ignore that for now. And we also get a couple of other pieces of information, which at the moment, though, don't matter to us. So let's ignore this for now. You will see context in action throughout the next lectures, though. Instead, let's take a closer look at this return object again. In there, we see props and revalidate. Now, there are two other keys which you can set on this object. One key is the not found key, which wants a Boolean value which is either true or false. If you set this to true, this page will return a 404 error and therefore render the 404 error page instead of the normal page. So if I add not found true here and save this, if we reload, we get the 404 page. Now, why might we want to do that? Well, if the code here, where you fetch data, fails to fetch the data for whatever reason, then you could, for example, do that. So we could check if data products length, if that is 0, so if we have no products, then maybe we want to return an object here in getStaticProps, which has not found set to true, so that we show the not found page. And only if we have at least one product in the fetched data, we return the regular page. That would be a typical use case where you sometimes want to render the 404 page because you failed to fetch data. So if I save this and reload, now I see that page again because of course we do have products. Another key you can set is the redirect key. The redirect key allows you to redirect the user. So instead of rendering the page content, instead of rendering this component content, you can redirect to another page, to another route. And that could also be needed because maybe you failed to fetch data. Let's say the problem is not that there is no data, but instead you weren't able to access the database or anything like that. So if there is no data to begin with, so not just no products, but no data in general, then maybe you want to redirect. And you can do this by returning an object where the redirect key is set to an object, where you then set a destination to some route, for example, to the no data route, which we don't have here, but which you could have in a project of yours, of course, and where then therefore that route would be loaded with a redirect status code returned by Next.js instead of this page component. Now we don't need either of the two here, but I wanted to mention them here so that you are aware of these special options, which basically can come in handy if something goes wrong with fetching your data. And with that, that's enough for getStaticProps for this very moment. Let's now have a look at another very important use case and very important problem you often face in Next.js projects.